everybody, welcome back to the Evermore YouTube channel. It's Chris back with another Rumour Has It video. We're talking about players linked to the club in the coming transfer windows. The window for winter is firmly closed, but Newcastle United are definitely looking at plans for the summer, and depending on how this season goes and whether we have Champions League football or not, it could definitely change the transfer plans. So we're going to talk about a player in a second, get stuck right in. It's definitely the type of player you would associate with a Champions League type team. So be really interested to look at the stats and then hear what you guys have got to think in the comments below. Just before I do, a little bit of a reminder. If you haven't already, please click the like and subscribe button. We'd love you to come and join us. We're over 2,500 subscribers at the minute, so massive thank you to everyone who smashed that button. We're only over 13 or 14 months old, I think, or something around that. So massive love. Thank you so much for that. There's loads of room for everybody else, but next target is 3,000. So smash that button. We might even have a little prize for you once we get to 3,000. So come and join us and you could be that winner. So let's get stuck in then. Who are we talking about? We're talking about this player right here, who is an established player, and this is Paulo Dybala, as you can see. So Paulo Dybala, there was talk, I think, when he was available from Juventus, where he scored over 80 goals in 200 games. He was a phenomenal player for Juventus. There was a lot of talk of him coming to the Premier League then. I think Newcastle were linked kind of in a really far-off sense. It was more Manchester United that looked like they were going to sign him. And that move never happened. So he went over to Roma, had a brilliant reception. I remember him signing for Roma and sitting down in front of thousands of fans who came out to see him. So a brilliant signing for Roma. Obviously, Jose Mourinho pulling out another one out of the bag. The player was really interested to work with Jose and, very much seems to enjoy working with Jose. So there might not be as much weight behind this as we possibly think. But it's certainly one worth reporting because he is a phenomenal footballer. So just before we get stuck into the stats and talk about how good Dybala is, if you didn't know already, this story has come out of the Italian news outlet, which is Calcio Mercato, and they are saying that Dybala is available for, get this, a fee of £10.7 million. So it's 12 million euro. Now, that was the release clause set in his contract for Roma for non-Serie A teams. The Serie A teams, I think, have got to pay closer to 17 million euro to activate his release clause. So as the story goes, apparently Newcastle United are the first team to show an interest in actually meeting this release clause for the summer. Now, this is a very, very interesting move, if true, by Newcastle United. Now, we don't know, it could just be smoke and mirrors, could be the agent trying to flush out perhaps a move to Man United. Apparently, Pep Guardiola likes the player as well, but at 29 years old, maybe he's a little bit too old for where Pep's looking to go. He's already got a little bit of an age in midfield there. The likes of De Bruyne are not getting any younger, although he's amazing. Gundogan as well. I think you've also got, the likes of Rodri and people like that, obviously getting a little bit older. So maybe he's looking for a bit more youth in that midfield. They did sign Maximo Perroni, who was another Newcastle United target. So maybe Pep is going the other way. But when a player of Dybala's quality comes up for grabs for 10 million quid, you've got to be in for it. You've got to be in for it. So let's have a little look at his stats then. You can see there, it's all greens really on the right-hand side, which is exactly what you'd expect for a player of this quality. So in terms of his goals this season, you can see he's got 11 goals in 22 games. So he's up in the 95th percentile, 0.55 goals a game. His XG, he's up in the 84th percentile. For shooting, he's over 3 shots a game, so he's 90th percentile. Looking down there, his assists as well. He's got 6 assists, so he's in the 70th percentile. His expected assists, he's in the 90th percentile, and the shot creation chances is 75. So listen, the guy is a baller. He's a great player. In terms of what he's like as a player, you can see the strengths, passing, finishing, creativity. He's got such a great balance, this player. Great with either foot, can spin a defender inside and out. You go have little looks of him, clips of him, even from when he was at Juventus, but certainly since he's been at Roma. He loves the ball at his feet. He can run at players. He can commit a man. He can shift his way either side, make a defender fall on their arse. He can create, opportunities crossing the ball. Great shot from range as well. He knows how to find the corners from range. He's a very, very talented footballer. You can see where he's played this season. So he's played 3 times as an actual forward out wide and 17 times as an attacking midfielder. Now, he could be a really good addition to our midfield, certainly if we're going to get the Champions League this season, which might be an ask. Certainly after watching that Liverpool game the other day, it was clear where the holes were in the side. But if we can finish top 4, we're going to need players with Champions League experience, and Dybala definitely fits that card. You can see how he compares to Miguel on the other side there. He massively eclipses Miggy, in terms of what he can do as a player. That's a bit unfair maybe to Miggy. Miggy's having the season of his life. He's in double digits now, but listen, Dybala's the next level. The only thing that might be a concern is potentially his age at 29. But listen, we're saying Kieran Trippier, 29, 30 years old for 12 million quid. So Eddie Howe is not averse to a bargain getting in a really experienced player. And obviously, this lad a couple of years ago, he's worth hundreds of millions of pounds. So this would be a phenomenal piece of business if Newcastle United could pull this off. Do I think they're going to pull it off? That is a very, very good question. I'm not entirely sure that they will. I'd love the player to come. I really do, because I just think he's that type of creative player, but with more consistency as well. You could play him into Max's position. You could play him in the hole behind the strikers. You could play him out in Miggy's position. He could be the attacking diamond in a midfield three with Joe and Bruno, and I think he would be so effective no matter where you play him. But he's the kind of player potentially that would caught maybe bigger interest. Obviously you've got the likes of Manchester United. They need a player like that as well. They're doing really well this season. I hope we beat them in the cup final next week, which will be all over and evermore. But they need a player like that, a creative player that can just make something happen out of nothing. There's always Chelsea seem to buy everybody, but by the looks of it, they're going nowhere near Champions League this season, and neither will Liverpool if they don't win the Champions League, because I don't think they'll get top four either. So this could be a really good opportunity for Newcastle United to sign this player this window and get him in. Some people might say, "Oh, is he big time Charlie? Will he want loads of money and all that?" If we get the Champions League, that's a total new level of revenue, a total new level of wages that you have to spend on players, because you want to stay in the Champions League. You don't just want to get there, get pumped in the first 3 or 4 group games and get sent back into the Europa. You want to have a fist of it. You want to try and stay in it for as long as you can. So, Dybala is the type of player that, would certainly add quality and add experience to this squad, which really is a bit wafer thin at the moment. You can see what happens if 1, 2, or 3 get knocks or suspensions. It throws everything out the window. We've seen that with Bruno. We've seen that with Willock now. We need more depth in the squad. So hopefully, we can go out and get these players in the summer, especially if we have a top 4 finishing position as well and have that Champions League card to play. That opens a whole new level of transfer target for us. And you might see the wages creep up, and that's not our concern, that's not our problem. If the owners want to pay more wages, let them pay more wages, let them get better players. But let us know what you guys think in the comments below. If you'd be excited to see Dybala come in, if you think it might happen or not. Like I say, I'm very skeptical about it. I think this might be a little bit of agent talk to flush out a Manchester United or even a Real Madrid or a Barcelona potentially to up their bid for the player. He has already said that he likes Jose as well, so he might just be angling for a better contract possibly. But we always like to hear what you guys have to say in the comments below, whether you think Dybala would be a good signing for Newcastle or not. Let us know. As I mentioned at the start, consider subscribing if you haven't already. We'd love to have you on board. We've got a cracking little community here. 2 live shows every Mondays and Wednesdays, and popular videos just like the one you've watched. Smash a like as well. Help it get on YouTube. It really helps the channel grow. This is Chris signing off. Let's keep supporting that team of Core United. Massive week ahead for Newcastle United. Keep it evermore for all of you. Your final countdown cup final content. We can't wait. See you soon, guys. Cheers. Bye.